Good day, everyone, and this is the WWE Money in the Bank 2016 review. The way that the WWE said about this pay per view is going to be the greatest Money in the Bank pay per view of all time. And after watching it, it did not live up to the hype. Although the Money in the Bank ladder match was great, and I love the outcome of the main event, everything else just turned to crap. This is gotta be the worst Money in the Bank pay per view of all time. Because although one of them did have the feel of a WrestleMania main event, the other was just the typical crap that the WWE creative would think of. Well, but before I begin, I want to congratulate the Cleveland Cavaliers on becoming the 2016 NBA champions. I guess everybody else were watching the NBA Finals tonight. Instead of watching the Money in the Bank pay per view, they saved a lot of money after this whole crap. I mean, my God, there were so many matches that just so crap. Yep. Tonight, AJ Styles won. But as usual, the WWE kept John Cena strong because of how he won, which was a typical John Cena match. Oh God, this is so humiliating. These matches and the way they end. I mean, seriously. Although the only bright side out of all this, that Dean Ambrose won the Money in the Bank ladder match, and at the very end, he cashed it in and became the new WWE World Heavyweight Championship champion. And that is the only bright side I have to say about this pay per view. Although there were one or two matches that I liked. One in particular, there were several matches that didn't live up to my expectations, and one, let's just say that the WWE really needs to rethink on how they treat their wrestlers at this particular time. Father's Day, I don't know why they did this to one of their own. But, you know what, let's just go through this one match at a time and you'll see what I'm talking about. So, the Money in the Bank pay per view took place in Las Vegas, Nevada. Although Jerry the King Lawler wasn't here because of the being suspended because of spousal abuse, or I don't know what happened, domestic dispute. Anyway, he's suspended, and on the little pre-show panel, it was Renee Young, Booker T, Corey Graves, and taking the place of Jerry the King Lawler is Lita. God, she's hot. Still hot. As usual. And so there was a pre-show. Renee and Leah started showing pictures of what they did in Las Vegas, being with half-naked men. Yeah. Typical. Then there was a interview with Tom Phillips in the social media lounge with Becky Lynch and Natalya. Sad. It's sad what happened to these two. Sad what happened to Natalya. Way to treat Natalya, but I guess this is their way of saying that Natalia is on her way out of the WWE. And they show a video package of John Cena and AJ Styles, trying to make it very epic. And then it showed backstage of Sami Zayn trying to apologize to Cesaro and talk about their Money in the Bank ladder match and all that. But yeah, that was a great match. I have to say it was one of those great Money in the Bank ladder match. I know it was the best, but it was one up there. And they made some last minute changes in the pre-show matches because it would have been Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler and Apollo Crews versus Sheamus, but then they decided to bump those up to the main event. To the pay-per-view, and decided on two matches. One was Brazongo versus Golden Truth, and the Lucha Dragons versus the Dudley Boys. Okay, the first match was Brazongo versus Goldust, and when I heard about this match, I thought, hey, we're finally going to see these two go at it. Probably be a great match. And it might be that Golden Truth will finally win a match against Brazongo. And, oh my god, I don't understand why they did this. I don't understand what was the purpose of this. But the match was just god-awful. And not because of the wrestling. It's about what happened before all this ever happened. Because it showed what happened in the Raw pre-show. I don't know why they did this, because there was a little bit of a backstage promo of Tyler Breeze and Fandango. They were set to do a photo shoot, and then they were gonna go to the sun tanning chamber they set up in there. And I don't know why they did this. They both went into the chamber together, back to back. And they brought themselves in, but then Goldust came by and started to mess with the dials. I guess it was a timing for the sun tanning chamber, because it said an hour or so later they came out that they had these bad sun burns, and I thought they were just going to leave it at that. But then, oh my god, I don't know why they did this, but it started to get a little homoerotic because they played like some kind of porno theme throughout this whole thing. They were trying to help each other with their sunburns. Oh my god, that was just awful. I mean, they were trying to peel all the skin off from each other. There was a banana involved. They just started rubbing it on themselves, and then they show them taking pictures, and they were in agony. Oh my god. They were drinking some drinks, but it turned out to be lotion. And then it showed Goldust and R-Truth were at the photo shoot, and they were trying to pose with them, started slapping on them, make it hurt more. And that's how they ended. And I thought that, hey, maybe that's the reason why they get pissed off, and that's why the match was there. But then, when Breezango came out, they still had the sunburns. Yeah, they still had the sunburns, and they were moving bad. They were in pain. And during this match, they could barely do any wrestling moves. to show that the Sunbirds is hindered any moves, and Goldust R-Truth kept doing the chops to them, which gave them even more pain. And then throughout the match, they would try to block the chops. But then at one point, Goldust did a bongo session on Fandango's back. And in the end, Goldust did the final cut, and Golden Truthfully won their first match. Even though Breezango had those sunburns in. I don't understand this. They did all this. They got them to try to join forces to form this tag team, and then they had Fandango and Tyler Breeze fight up against them. Then they showed them losing match after match, and they finally won one. But then it turns out it was because of sunburn, and I don't know why they did this. Is this ridiculous? Although there was something more ridiculous, is that they kept showing commercials about the WWE Network on the WWE Network. And and throughout the pay-per-view, they between matches they aired Shaq's Gold Bond commercial throughout the entire pay-per-view. And I mean, it's sponsored by Gold Bond, but why did they have to show a commercial within a pay-per-view? I mean, yeah, you can show a promo, but a commercial? Oh my god, these guys must be so hard on money now. See, this is what happens when you go big on a project that you know is gonna fail. I mean, they're gonna do 2 pay-per-views a month. All this for the WWE Network. And now they're at the mercy of their sponsors now. Because now they can air anything they want on the WWE Network. Now they go show commercials. This is awful. They ruined what could have been a good match on a pre-show. This is awful. Then the next match was the Dudley Boys versus the Lucha Dragons. Okay. Alright, this was a way better match than the first one. I mean, these two teams were great. I mean, there was some good action. But ready to trash talk Kalisto, try to intimidate him, and throughout the beginning of the match, Bubba Ray was trying to get Kalisto right into the corner, but Kalisto found ways of avoiding this. It was a good springboard action by Kalisto and Sin Cara. Yeah. Yeah, and the problem with this is what I'm talking about. Like, during this match between the Lucha Dragons and the Dudley Boys, there was a commercial break. I mean, it's a pay-per-view and you're going to show a commercial break during a match? Oh my god. There was some hot action and you put a commercial break in between a match. After that stupid commercial break, everyone was screaming for tables. And And then at the end, the Dudley Boys try to go for the 3D on Kalisto, but then he got out of it and knocked out Devon. But then the Dudley Boys went for another 3D, but then Kalisto grabbed the ropes, and then Devon set over the ropes, and then Kalisto delivered a Sligo del Sol to Bubba Ray. But during this, Sin Cara tagged himself in and went for the Swanton dive and won. So the Lucha Dragons beat the Dudley Boys. And I don't know why they brought the Dudley Boys back if they're not going to try to get them in the tag team championship picture. And I don't know the way they treat the Dudley Boys. I mean, they're the 9-time WWE Tag Team Champions, and one of these days they're gonna win their 10th, and I think that's gonna be it for them in the company. But I don't know what they're doing with the Dudley Boys. And that was the end of the pre-show. Which, get it. Oh, they sell commercials about Battleground. I don't know what they're going to do with Battleground, but I'm guessing Sasha Banks is going to be back. Good thing. They really need her, and hopefully either Paige or Sasha Banks beat Charlotte for the title. And maybe they could do something with the division, but as of right now, what they did tonight showed that the women's division is just as crappy as the Divas division, and you get rid of it. Okay, then they kicked off the real pay-per-view. And the first match was the Fatal 4-Way for the WWE Tag Team Championship belts. You know, the New Day, Enzo and Cass, the Club, and the Vaudevillains. I don't know, there were, at the beginning of this, there were costumes like Enzo and Cass came out, and they were just talking a little promos, and Vaudevillains came out there with some old-timey costumes. It was in black and white. I wish it was black and white throughout the entire match, but no. And then the New Day, and then the Club came back. And then the Club and then New Day came out, and this was a good match for a Fatal 4-Way. I mean, they did some good moves. And I was hoping that the Club was going to win this, but didn't. I mean, somehow this turned out to be an okay match. And then at the very end of this match, the Club hit the Magic Killer on Aiden English for a 2 count. But then Big E came in there and they started fighting. And then Big E was about to deliver the big ending to Carl Anderson, but I don't know what. It looked like someone was holding Luke Gallows. I think it was Cass. And then he got knocked out. And then they delivered the New Day ending. And once again, the New Day are your still tag team champions. And I think they're going to keep them the tag team champions until they break that record for the longest rating tag team. I don't know. I don't know what direction they're gonna have for this tag team division because I don't know. Maybe that the Lucha Dragons want to match with Dudley Boys. Maybe they'll face them. But because I was scared for Enzo because at one point he was thrown into the ropes. He went over and hit his head on the ropes. I thought that, oh my god, he's gonna get a concussion again, but he didn't. But it was a good show for the club. I mean, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. I mean, they just take out the team before they can go after a team 1-on-1. At certain points in the match, the Enzo and Cass and the New Day clear the ring of the Vaudevillains at the club, so they can have a 1-on-1 tag team match. But well, okay, it was an okay match to start with. And hopefully there's a tag team that can take the titles from the New Day. And then they had a backstage interview with Tom Phillips of Kevin Owens, which led to Kevin Owens making fun of Tom Phillips. And then because Tom Phillips asked him about this being his first Money in the Bank, but then Owens wanted to clarify this was his first Money in the Bank ladder match, or this was his first Money in the Bank pay-per-view because he was there when he was facing John Cena. So he clarified it, but then Chris Jericho interrupted him. This has led to like Owens, Jericho, and the Real arguing amongst each other. This did not do the build up anything for the Money in the Bank ladder match. Then the next match was Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler. So yeah, this is the third and I guess the rubber match between these two guys because last time Dolph Ziggler won at Payback. Baron Corbin won with a low blow at Extreme Rules. And hopefully this was the final match between these two guys. But knowing the WWE, they'll find some excuse to fight one more time. The beginning of the match, Ziggler started doing some technical wrestling to Baron Corbin, try to get him off his feet. But then throughout the entire match, the majority of the match, Baron Corbin was dominating with brute strength, brute force, or whatever. And then I don't know why, but at certain parts of this match, where Baron Corbin was literally beating the crap out of Dolph Ziggler, the crowd was chanting "boring." And this is the same thing that they did during the Brock Lesnar versus John Cena match, where Brock Lesnar was beating the crap out of John Cena, and the crowd was yelling "boring." And throughout this match, they would start doing some making comebacks, and several times he tried to deliver the Famouser to Baron Corbin. And then I don't think the crowd was interested in this match. Let's see. He finally hit the Famouser, but it got a 2 count. And then they was trying to go for the super kill of Baron Corbin, but then Baron Corbin gets out of the ring. And then Ziggler went out of the ring. And then he was trying to do something, like a move off the steel steps, but he sort of stumbled. I know it was a botch. But then he launched himself off the steel steps, but Baron Corbin caught him. I think it was a botch, but I think Ziggler was supposed to leap off the steel steps, and then Baron Corbin caught him, and then delivered a deep six outside the ring. And then Baron Corbin attacks him, and he gets him in the ring. Ziggler tried to deliver a DDT him, but then he throws him off, and then Baron Corbin goes for the end of days, but then he gets out of it and delivers a super kick for a 2 count. And Ziggler went up to the top turnbuckle. I don't know why. But then Baron Corbin tries to attack him, tries to go for a superplex. But then Ziggler knocks him off the top rope. But then Baron Corbin gets up and knocks him off the top rope. And then Baron Corbin delivers the end of days to Ziggler and wins the match. So it was a good technical match. And hopefully this is the end. I hope this is the end of that rivalry. They can go do their own thing. But whatever the WWE does, I don't know. And then the next match was Charlotte and Dana Brooke versus Natalya, Becky Lynch, and I have to say this was a pretty crappy way of training the Divas. This match was just awful. I mean, at the beginning, wrestling was good at the beginning of this match, but okay. At the beginning of this match, everyone was just chatting, "We want Sasha," and so Natalya took control of the beginning of this match against Charlotte, gets Dana Brooke, but then Charlotte gets tagged in. Then doing this fight, Becky Lynch gets tagged in. And then there was a heart attack to Charlotte. And then sends Dana Brooke outside. And then there was a baseball slide to her. Then Becky gets Charlotte inside the ring, gets a 2 count. Then tags Natalya back in. And then during this bout between her and Charlotte, Dana Brooke distracts her. And then Charlotte delivers a boot to Natalya because of this. And then there was a whole battle with the heels. Natalya knocks Dana and Charlotte outside the ring. And then attacks in Becky Lynch. And Becky Lynch starts fighting. Then Becky hits Charlotte with an exploder in the corner for a 2 because they broke it up. And then they both, Becky Lynch and Charlotte, deliver a double drop to Charlotte. And then Becky Lynch tags in Natalya. And then both go for a suplex on Charlotte. But then Charlotte flips out of this and knocks Becky Lynch outside the ring. But then Natalya got the advantage and then locks the sharpshooter on Charlotte. But then Dana Brooks breaks it up. But then somehow Becky Lynch grabs on the Dana Brooks and somehow she sends Becky Lynch into Natalya. And then this led to Charlotte delivering natural selection to Natalya, and she got the win. And you would think that would be the end of it, but no, it's not. because when Becky Lynch was about to leave the ring, Natalia attacks Becky Lynch. And I don't know if this is her heel turn or she's just frustrated that she can't beat Charlotte. I don't know what was the point of this. So I guess they're trying to make it like she's so frustrated about never beating Charlotte for the title that she's taken out on Becky Lynch. So they're just taking the women's division away for the title. Hopefully, the background they'll have Sasha Banks versus Charlotte for the title, as Sasha Banks would take it away from Charlotte. I guess it depends whether or not Sasha Banks can make it in time. But Paige beat her twice, so maybe we'll see Paige versus Charlotte, but I don't know. Because these four women are the only ones that have been talking about. No one's talking about the other women wrestlers that they have. This is just awful. The way they treat Natalia with the Montreal screw job. What happened the last time? Natalia went against Charlotte. And then they show a backstage interview with Tom Phillips, Dean Ambrose, and Ambrose says he's not much of a strategy guy. And he compares the Money in the Bank ladder match to a jungle, and the briefcase is the light at the end of the jungle. And then Tom Phillips said that talk about what he thinks about the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match, and he said that beating up Seth Rollins is fun, which was an indication of what was going to happen at the end of the pay-per-view. Okay, and the next match was Sheamus versus Apollo Crews, and all this started when they talked about the new era, and Sheamus didn't want to be left out because of the new era. I don't know. This is a basic match, which is a strong style versus strong style. And I don't know. I didn't get the ending of this match because this was a good match, although the crowd wasn't in it, but into it. I don't know, because at the end of the match, because Sheamus delivered a super white noise and turnbuckle, I got a 2 count. But somehow Apollo Crews rolls him up in the crucifix roll up and gets the win. That doesn't make sense. Because if Sheamus delivered a white noise off the second turnbuckle, I got a 2 count. How would Apollo Crews get enough strength to roll Sheamus up for the win? I mean, it's a great showing for Apollo Crews. I mean, he got over Sheamus, but you gotta get him over like that with a roll up. And after he got hit with a powerful finisher, I don't know. I mean, it's not like Apollo Crews is gonna get the opportunity for the WWE World Heavyweight title. And I don't I don't know. This feels like they're gonna try to. Sheamus is probably gonna lead the WWE soon. I don't know. But I guess now that Paul Cruz got over, maybe they're gonna put him some storylines that's involved around the some around the Intercontinental or the United States title. Only time will tell. And up next was what everybody's calling a WrestleMania worthy match of John Cena versus AJ Styles. I don't know, before the match began, everyone was on their feet. Everyone was excited about this match. Yeah. The match started typically as a John Cena match. It was a tie up, but then which led to AJ Styles and putting a headlock at Cena. But I don't know why, but I think AJ Styles was sick and tired of doing these stupid headlocks. And he started tying John Cena. He talked about he doesn't have time for this. And so throughout this match, AJ Styles was running circles around John Cena. So I guess to try to sell that John Cena's tactics were slow and AJ Styles was just counteracting all those moves. I mean, but this crowd was still on their feet because of this. Because I think this was occasionally for John Cena. I mean, he did some deep arm drag takedowns on AJ Styles. And then Cena was trying to go for the AA, but then AJ Styles threw knees to all of it. And then he started doing chops to him. And throughout the match, AJ Styles was dominating, like at the very beginning of this match. I mean, I was surprised how well this match was going. I mean, AJ Styles was performing much better than he did in previous matches because he was carrying John Cena throughout this entire match. And then there was at one point where John Cena was trying to deliver a super AA to us, but AJ Styles fought out of that. It sends Cena right to the mat. And then he was about to deliver the phenomenal forearm to Cena, but then Cena catches him and tries to go for the AA, but I don't know how, but AJ Styles counters the attitude adjustment and went into the calf crusher. Yeah, and Cena went to the ropes. Yeah, there was no way Cena was going to give up. And then, and so they started fighting, and John Cena delivered a monster clothesline to AJ Styles. And then, at the beginning, and then he did a 5-knuckle shuffle to AJ Styles. And then Cena was, I don't know, he was climbing the ropes. And he was trying to go for the big leg drop, but then AJ Styles counters and somehow got him in position to do a power bomb to him. But they got a 2 count because of this. And then he just started to beat up on Cena again. And Cena starts to fight him again. And then Cena was in control, but then he just had to learn a Pele kick. And he delivered a Styles Clash. But, yep, he got a 2 count. I mean, it's not like AJ Styles ever beaten anyone with the Style Clash in WWE. And then there's one point where AJ Styles delivered a springboard 450 splash to John Cena, but John Cena's knees were up, so he stopped that attack. And okay, when he did this move, when AJ Styles did this move, Michael Cole called it a shooting star press. Once again, the commentators, once again, Michael Cole can't call wrestler moves. Just like when he called the Wasteland the Winds of Change. And, this match was doing all right. I mean, I had to say this match was going all right, but then I mean, at the very end of this match, John Cena and AJ Styles were doing these great moves up until the very end. This is what I'm talking about. At the very end, I mean, this was going all right. Everyone was on their feet. But then they did the typical John Cena match. The typical John Cena ending. Because when John Cena was going to deliver the AA to AJ Styles was holding to the ropes, but then John Cena knocks the referee out. So we got a ref bump. And John Cena delivered the AA to AJ Styles, and he was making the cover, but without the referee. It continued, and Lord and behold, what happened next? Luke Gallows and Carl Assa came out, attacked Cena, did the magic killer on him, and they put AJ Styles on top of him, and the referee got up and 1, 2, 3, AJ Styles beats John Cena. So let me get this straight. You said that this was going to be a WrestleMania caliber match. And instead of just having AJ Styles beat John Cena clean, and let's not forget, AJ Styles signed a contract that he was going to have a one-on-one match for John Cena with the club members to interfere, and you do this. You cause a ref bump and outside interference, and AJ Styles wins. Oh God, AJ Styles is going to get buried. All knew it was going to happen, but we thought that the WWE was going to do the right thing, and you have John Cena or AJ Styles win clean, but as usual, they have someone beat John Cena, and they kept him strong. We're just going to lead up to another match, probably at Battleground, the next pay-per-view. I just don't get it. This match was all right. You finally... I mean, this was ridiculous. You were doing... The match was doing so well, and you do this? A ref bump? And outside interference, as usual, Cena was kept strong. And sooner or later, AJ Styles is going to lose to John Cena clean. And that's going to be the end of AJ Styles. Well, at least this next match was a whole lot better. This was the match of the night, the Money in the Bank ladder match between Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Cesaro, Alberto Del Rio, Dean Ambrose, and Chris Jericho. So we start off with everyone was just beating up each other. They ever try to climb the ladders? I mean, there's so many good ladder spots. Because Chris Jericho made the first attempt to try to climb the ladder. But then Cesaro tried to get in there, but then Chris Jericho hits him with the ladder. And then he did a face buster on the ladder. I mean, yeah, this is a great match. Everyone was just delivering these cool moves. At one point, especially with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, when Sami Zayn delivered a Michinoku driver to Kevin Owens on the long part of the ladder. You saw how he was laying on that ladder like Sami Zayn broke him in two. There were several attempts on the ladder. And then I don't know, they formed this little, and then Alberto Del Rio had the ladder. He put it in the corner. Had Cesaro hanging off of the tree of woe, and delivered a double stomp on the Cesaro with the ladder underneath him. And at the very end, they had the ladder in the middle of the ring. And somehow they set up the two ladders connected from the ladder set up in the middle of the ring into the corners, which led to everyone just bowing on top of the ladder. And then Del Rio and Cesaro were betting on another ladder that was set up in the middle of the ring, but then Kevin Owens knocked the ladder over. Cesaro fell on the ropes crotch first. And Del Rio looked bad how Del Rio fell. I think his head hit the ladder or something. And then there was a battle between Jericho and Ambrose on the ladder. But they both got knocked off. And Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens had a battle on the bridge of the ladder. And then Sami Zayn was climbing up. He was about to get the briefcase. I mean, it looked like he was about to get the briefcase, but then Jericho stopped him. And then Ambrose went and knocked Jericho off the ladder, but then he did a hanging dirty deeds to Chris Jericho. And then there was a battle between Zayn and Owens did a power bomb top of the ladder. And then this led up to the final battle between Owens and Ambrose. And they were battling for the briefcase. And then Kevin Owens was pulling Ambrose's arm through the ladder, trying to knock Ambrose got the upper hand and knocked Owens running into the bridge opposite to him, to the ladder bridge opposite him, and Ambrose climbed up and got the briefcase. So Mr. Money Bank is Dean Ambrose. I knew that was going to happen. This was going to happen in the middle of in the main event. This was the brighter side of the pay-per-view, but then everything just went downhill from here. Because the next match was the United States Championship between Rusev and Titus O'Neil. And this whole thing started where Titus O'Neil got pissed off because Rusev called himself American hero because he's the United States champion. And then on the Raw this week, Titus O'Neil was attacked by Rusev. Now on SmackDown, Titus O'Neil attacked. And this match was very offensive, especially because it's Father's Day. Because if you remember on the Money in the Bank the Money in the Bank pay-per-view on Father's Day, remember the Intercontinental Championship match between the Barrett and Curtis Axel in a triple threat match? Curtis Axel won. It was a tribute to his father, the late Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig. And that's why it was a great match, because Curtis Axel won the Intercontinental title just like Mr. Perfect won it. And Mr. Perfect was one of the best Intercontinental champions in the WWF and the WWE. In turn, Curtis Axel finally won the Intercontinental title. It was Father's Day. It was great. The crowd was cheering. And during this pay-per-view, they showed a commercial of fixing a snack for his kids. At the beginning, before the match began, they had Lana in the ring introducing Rusev, and then they introduced Titus O'Neil, and they panned to the front row because his kids were there. And I thought that, hey, since his kids there, it's Father's Day, maybe Titus O'Neil was going to win. That he's finally going to win a title, a singles title. He's going to be United States champion. He's going to celebrate with his kids, and probably the kids will come in the ring to celebrate. But no, that never happened. And what was worse, that during this entire match, the crowd was dead. Because the crowd didn't invest anything into this match. And it was a good thing, because when the bell rang, Rusev walked outside. And then he was just messing with Titus's kids. And then Titus O'Neil was trying to go after him. And they both delivered a double clothesline outside the ring. And then when Titus O'Neil was in control, he started throwing Rusev around. And then Rusev was in control. It started beating the crap out of him. But then Titus O'Neil had a comeback, but then Rusev stopped it. And then Tyson got the upper hand, threw Rusev into the ring post. And Tyson delivered a pop handle powerbomb to Rusev for a 2 count. Then a few minutes later, delivered a spine buster for a 2 count. And then Rusev eventually tried to deliver an accolade, but Tyson kept his arm hooked up by Rusev. And then he got up and did a pop handle slam for a 2 count. And then Rusev got outside the ring. And then he started throwing Rusev around to the ring apron, the ring steps. And then Tyson gets back in the ring, but then Rusev delivers some kicks and a thrust kick, and then he put the accolade in and he won the match. So Rusev is still the United States champion. And so they couldn't have given the win to Titus O'Neil, especially on Father's Day, because he won the Mega Dad of the Year last year. His kids were there. And you couldn't just give him the title then. And you know what was worse? After the match, Rusev came outside. He was near the kids. He had a mic. And he said, and they said, you know what your father is? A loser. And then when he was walking away, one of Titus O'Neil's kids started hitting on Rusev, but Rusev walked away and wished everyone a happy Father's Day. All right, this was just awful. It was stupid. I mean, you could have done something great with this match. I mean, you did a poor job of promoting it, but you could have just gave Titus O'Neil the win. You could have just gave him the title. But no, you did this on Father's Day. You did this in front of his kids. I don't know if you're just using this to go for a feud with Rusev and Titus O'Neil, but you could have just had Titus O'Neil win the title. You could have just had a moment. You could have had a moment right then and there. I mean, the way the pay-per-view is going, you could have done that. I just don't get. I don't know what the WWE was thinking. You were promoting Titus O'Neil as this father figure in the WWE, and you do this. You make him lose, make him tap out right in front of his kids. I mean, at least you had. Zack Ryder win the United States title, and his father was there watching in front row. But you couldn't give Titus O'Neil the United States title then. Yeah. What a way of showing your support. I think Titus O'Neil was right of choking out Vince McMahon. Oh, he should have just beat the shit out of Vince after this. God. Yeah. And now the main event was Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. Yep. I don't know. When Seth Rollins came out. It was a huge pop for him, even though he was the heel. Roman Reigns came out, didn't get any cheers. So throughout this entire match, Reigns was in control, and Seth Rollins had a few moments of control. I mean, this was alright. It was a clean match. Reigns was just dominating. Had Seth Rollins outside the ring, try to throw him into the Spanish announce table. And Seth Rollins has some form of making a comeback. I don't know. I mean, it's okay, but the crowd was dead. Oh, there's somebody 2 counts. Reigns was trying to do the Superman punch or spear. Seth Rollins tried to deliver that suplex. You know, he did a superplex into a suplex. But then Reigns countered that with a Superman punch. He got a 2 count. I don't know. It was starting getting good to the very end because at one point Seth Rollins was outside the ring and he was tired, and Reigns chose the opportunity to try to spear him through the barricade, but Seth Rollins moved out of the way. And it was at this point where the doctors were checking on Reigns to see if is there any injury to him. And then this led to a fight between these guys, and then I don't know. At the very end, there Rollins was trying to do a pedigree to Reigns, but then Reigns pushed Rollins into the referee, causing a ref bump. And Reigns delivered a spear to Seth Rollins. But since the referee got so slow to the count, it was just a typical 2 count. And then I don't know how Seth Rollins did this. I mean, this was a great move, but Roman Reigns was going for another spear. But then Seth Rollins counters this into a pedigree. But then he got a 2 count for this. And so he went for another pedigree. And he got the pin. So Seth Rollins is your new WWE World Heavyweight Champion at the time. Because as soon as he was celebrating, Dean Ambrose music starts to play. And then Seth Rollins was getting ready. He was looking at the backstage. He was looking at the ramp. He was expecting that Dean Ambrose was going to run straight into the ring, but he didn't. Because Dean Ambrose came behind Seth Rollins and hit Seth Rollins with the Money in the Bank briefcase. And then he goes to the referee, he cashes it in, and delivers Dirty Deeds and got the win. So finally, after all this time, after being screwed over by the Authority, by Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose is finally the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I mean, I predicted this, and this was the only way to end this match. Oh my God! Everyone was marking out when Dean Ambrose won the title, and this barely salvaged this crappy pay-per-view. So Dean Ambrose is your champion. So Seth Rollins is in dismay. So Reigns just looking up. So there were only two matches that I like was the Money in the Bank ladder match, and it was the main event. Everything else was just unclean wins. And once again, the WWE fails to make a preview. I mean, you have not either have AJ Styles win clean, or you have him win by cheating. You humiliated Titus O'Neil on Father's Day. You turned the tie heel. Even though you got so many healed women wrestlers. I don't know what they're going to do with Natalia, but I'm guessing she's on her way out of WWE. Well, you had a good Fatal 4-Way tag team match, but when are you going to have... I mean, when are you guys going to have good tag team matches? I mean, at least have some singles matches. Well, the only good thing about this that Stephanie and Shane weren't there. Try to argue about who's going to be the new general manager of SmackDown. One good thing, but I mean, there were so many crappy endings to these matches. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know why people still watch WWE because of this. I mean, they show the new era. Nothing's gonna change. You know, will not lose clean. I knew it. I knew they were going to bury else. It's coming. And at Battleground, you're going to see this. You're going to see that John Cena is going to beat AJ Styles. And I'm not sure who's going to be tag team champion. And they really need to do something. They really need to make the Dudley Boys tag team champions soon. Or else it was a waste of time for those guys. And they really need to stop trying to get the WWE network over by keep showing those commercials over and over again on the WWE network. I mean, the main event, the ending of the main event was all right. It was great. Everybody loved it, but I don't think no one liked the other matches that came before it. So I'm going to give this 2.5 out of 5. Because of the unclean wins. That whole stupid thing with Brazongo and the sunburns. Just comedy. I mean, at least In TNA Slammiversary, it was a wrestling format. It had a wrestling format. At least they wrestled. There was no silly antics, although there were several unclean wins. Wrestling format, pay-per-view. And I really hope that TNA starts improving, get more people to look at their product, especially Fight Network coming. But this Battlegrounds next month, seeing as it's gonna beat AJ Styles, and this will lead up to, and I'm guessing in the main event at Battleground, since Roman Reigns lost the title to Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins lost the title to Dean Ambrose, they're gonna try to make it a triple threat match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship belt. And, next month will be SmackDown going live on Tuesdays. Funny how TNA is Tuesdays. And because of what Comcast did to everyone, the digital starter package, when they got rid of Spike TV, Pop, and CMT, I'm guessing the WWE is going to try to take out TNA. I don't know. I've watched the WF for years. And then when I went to the WWE, it has a good years at the beginning, but now I think it's time for them to go. Because it's obvious that they can't do it anymore. They can't produce wrestling that they did in the 80s and 90s. It's impossible. And it's not completely John Cena's fault. I mean, they are giving him this role as the face of the company. But who's going to take over John Cena? Roman Reigns. And it's not going to be AJ Styles. After what happened tonight, AJ Styles is really going to get buried. This is just awful. Awful pay-per-view. It's not the greatest money make pay-per-view of all time. Although the ladder match was great. I just don't get it. And they're going to do 2 pay-per-views like this. So, this is just awful. Cena wins unclean. This just makes me sick. The way the WWE is treating the wrestlers and the way they want to book things for their pay-per-views. And now they're showing commercials during their pay-per-views. Get it? I don't know why the WWE is doing this. But you know what? If the WWE wants to do this, if they want to continue doing their things, then let them keep doing this. And they will fall. Another company will take over. They will do it better than the WWE because I think that the USA Network will keep a show that has low ratings. It's awful. It's awful. It's awful. Let's just see what's going to happen on Monday Night Raw. And I'm going to leave it up here. So if you're listening to this, make some comments. What you think about what happened at the Money in the Bank ladder match, the Money in the Bank review. What do you think of the matches? Deserves to be fired. So I'm just going to end this tonight. Thank you and good night.